Seven habits for a healthy mind. Is it too early for that? Nah, I think we're good. Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. John Henry Soto here. Welcome to 7 a.m. It is May 3rd, 2021, and we are having a wonderful weather last couple of days. It's been pretty nice. A little rain here and there, sprinkles, but nothing really major. Enjoying this beautiful spring as things start opening up in the world again, and we start actually seeing our friends and embracing our friends and having some normalcy. Not that they will have normalcy, as people say, right? It's the new norm. I hate that expression. It's so stupid. Um, the new norm. The norm wasn't good anyway. So this is actually a new way of operating, right? And it's one of those things where you really have to start taking stock in your life and realizing how much you actually have to look forward to, um, gratefulness, respect for those around you, whatever opinions they may have, um, better knowing yourself, spend more time in your own thoughts, and not in a negative way, but spend more time with your abilities to think about things. And that's actually one of the habits that we're going to be talking about today, the seven habits um, for a healthy mind in today's world, right? So we're going to go over that. I'm going to be talking about that. If anybody has any comments, any questions, please, you can always email me at johnhenrysoto@protonmail.com. I always give out these booklets as well, the Way to Happiness booklets. If you're interested in one of these for yourself, if you want a hard copy one, you can email me at that same address, johnhenrysoto@protonmail.com, and I'll get one of those out to you. If you want, rather not have a physical copy, you like to read on your phone or on your tablet, and I can send you an electric thing. It's an electronic booklet, and get that out to you. So please like, share, and subscribe to this page if you like what I'm doing here in the mornings and you appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you very much who tune in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we're going to be having a lot of different topics. So if anybody has any topics that you say, you know what, why don't you talk about this, or just send them over to me. You could even drop them right here in the comment section, and I will gladly write them down and see if it's something that I could even articulate, which is not easy sometimes on some of these subjects. But let's begin. All right. So a habit sometimes people make it seem as a negative thing, right? People have a bad habit, right? Nobody says I got a really good habit of doing that. It's very rare that people use that. It's always used in a negative way, right? But having habits is just something that you do, and if you build up, it's something that you do where you're not even thinking about it, right? Or you're so compelled to do it that you can't even control yourself from not doing it, right? Um, and if it's a positive thing, right, then that's a good thing. You don't even have to think about it, right? It's sort of like we have a habit of being somewhat courteous to one another in the streets, right? Nobody goes around and punches people in the face for no reason. I mean, some people do now in New York and places like that, and Portland, but it's not really something that we're known to do as a human race, right? That's just a habit that we have of just not going around punching people for no reason, especially if you're angry about something that has nothing to do with anybody, right? so so that's a habit, right? People have habits that are negative and positive, right? But we're going to be talking about your mind, right? Now, there's a lot of different elements to your mind, right? There's a lot, it's complex circuitry up there. And it actually does affect your body. It affects the way you think of yourself, and it could affect your success level in life as well. If you have a tendency to just think negative thoughts constantly, or some of these people that say like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna get sick. I think I feel sick, and then you get sick. Of course, you just created that, right? If you think of somebody who's constantly saying, "Man, I can't make any more money. I can't make any money. I'm trying to get a raise. They're not going to give me this. They're not going to give me that. They're not." Whatever it is, you get pulled into situations where you're going to be abused because your own mind is just bringing you into those situations, right? And so that's where that your mind really becomes a really important thing. Now it goes into spirituality, and we're going to cover that a little bit here as well. Whatever you believe in, your foundation spiritually, your faith, those things are part of it as well. But your mind, you can have a strong faith and still have your mind be cluttered or be clouded, right? And that's one of the things that we're going to be discussing here. So let's go to number one here. Number one, daily physical activity. I don't know why I had that. So I think I know why I had trouble saying that word is because I haven't been doing enough of it myself. But I am starting a 90-day program, which it's on my tablet right here, and I'm starting it this morning. As a matter of fact, 90 days. Maybe I'll cover a little bit of how I'm doing on that. And it's a workout through an app, not an app. It's a company that I joined, and I'm getting some supplements and some daily routines and stuff, and they give me the workouts. This is very important because your body is a machine. And if that machine is not moving consistently and the blood isn't going through and it's not going smooth, then the machine is going to be sluggish. And when the machine is sluggish, it affects your mind. People who are out of shape or just not feeling well can't really think clearly. They can't think clearly. It's just, I mean, you can say that that's an incorrect statement on my part, but you have to prove me wrong if you're going to say that. People who are just not physically healthy, their minds are just not where they should be. Now people will say, like, well, how about Stephen Hawkins? He was in a wheelchair and he was crippled. His mind was brilliant. I mean, if you're gonna compare anyone on the planet to that guy, let's just talk about Albert Einstein. Compare yourself to somebody, to anybody. You know what I mean? It's like you can't really you can't really compare yourself to something that's just such a remarkable, unique thing in the planet in our history that it will never happen again, or probably never happen again, or very rare that it will ever happen again. So we can't go on. We're talking about us normal mortals that just think like normal people. We don't have these high level thoughts of like the future and science and things like that. I mean, some of us do, obviously, right? But we're talking about just your everyday activity that you do to get your blood circulating and to get your body moving well, right? So this is a very important thing. And if you exercise at least 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes is not a long time. I mean, 20 minutes you can run in place for 10 minutes and then do some, calisthenics for like do push ups and maybe some jumping jacks. 20 minutes a day. If you were to get into the habit of getting up in the morning, getting your coffee, right? Mm, that's good. And starting an exercise, starting a routine, or doing your normal morning routine, and then within it, fit in 20 minutes. If you got to get up a little earlier, get up a little earlier. It's your life depends on it. And not just that, but the success, your happiness, how well you do. You may live to be 80 years old, but those last 15 years are just with constant pain, struggling, popping pills, going to doctors, getting injected with stuff. That's just no way to live. So you want to be 80 years old and be 80 years old and be still active and be able to walk around and be able to do stuff, right? So very important, number one, is to physical activity, daily physical activity. Number two is intellectual curiosity. So this is actually something that I recently realized that I do. I didn't actually know I did this, but I realized that I like to sit, and I thought it was just laziness or something. But I like to sit and I like to think about things, and not in a way that's going to get me feeling. Uh, I don't like not thinking about how others think of me or anything like that, but really thinking about what I'm working on, my projects, film ideas, song ideas, show ideas, whatever it is. I like to sit for a little while, and usually it's in after I finish this show, I go to the kitchen, and when I was reading this article, I was like, oh yeah, I do that. I go check my emails and I answer any social media things that I have to answer. I acknowledge anybody who's said anything on any of my posts, and then I start. Really drinking my coffee and kind of getting ready for the day. But while I'm doing that, getting the kids ready, whatever, my mind is thinking. I'm actually trying to get concepts in my head and trying to get intellectual curiosity into my mind, and to try to figure out what my next step is and what I'm working on, and really to put that focus. People call it, sometimes visualization, right? And so I try to visualize certain things, and I didn't know I did this till recently, but I do, and I've been doing this my whole life actually. And I used to do it a lot when the Walkman first came out. I would listen there, listen to music, and I would listen to guitar parts and listen to melodies and listen to guitar solos from my heroes, and I would just get this into my consciousness, and that was part of my thinking. So that's number two. Number three is foster creativity. So challenge your mind to connect unrelated ideas in new and useful ways. So when you challenge yourself, and this show right here, 7 a.m., was something that I decided to challenge myself on. I was doing a show in the evenings. In the evenings, it was really hard to do a show consistently. I was doing 6 shows a night last year. In 2020, I did over 100 shows, and it was really difficult because I have a family, and the kids have to try to get to bed, and I'm trying to get to my show. It started at 9:30, usually go about an hour, and it was a difficult thing. So I decided, let me see how can I challenge myself and still put out useful content, and try to challenge myself to create at a higher level, or to try to get better at something. So this show challenges my mind every day. I do 5 shows a week. I have to have different content. I'm always searching. I'm always trying to find something that would be interesting to to talk about, but maybe try to put a different spin on it, um, and trying to connect it to things that are to different ideas and make them useful, and see if people are going to enjoy this. And that's one of the toughest things that I remember thinking about. I was like, oh my gosh, if I do this, it's gonna be really hard. Should I even maybe let me just do a week? Let me just do 1 week without really making a big deal out of it. And I did it for the week, and it was not easy at all. Um, but it was a challenge, and I said, let me just challenge myself and see if I can do this. So now I'm almost at 100 episodes of 7 a.m., and very grateful that everybody has been really kind to me about it. And it's been a blessing. So challenge yourself. Oh boy, hold on. All right. Number four is human unity. Create and maintain close knit human bonds and social support network. Well, that's a consistent thing, right? That's a constant. I'm constantly meeting people and have to figure out, okay, is this person um are they positive, right? Do they have their own stuff together? That becomes a real big major part of meeting people in my life, because I meet so many on a weekly basis, and not as many now as I did in like 2019 and 2018. But 2020, I met a lot of people from my house. And so far this year, I'm on a record pace because I've been figuring out how to meet people and to put together a support system. I have a couple of filmmaker friends of mine that we have these great conversations about putting something together that would benefit the world when we're gone. A film company that puts out films that have integrity, and films that are well acted, well written, obviously, and all those things, but something that we would have a little bit more control of, you know. And in talking to them, and they have films out on Amazon Prime, and talking to them, it's sort of like talking to myself, you know, because they have the same viewpoints and we all have the same goals and minds. And so it took a long time to meet people like this, because you really, a lot of filmmakers and artists and stuff, they're kind of into their own thing, and they have a very small niche of group, and they have the same people into their projects, and they create a nice little ecosystem for themselves based on that, you know. And because I'm constantly meeting people, and I love that part of my life is to meet people, it's difficult sometimes to sit down with somebody and then say you want to put something together, because a lot of the things that I've created with people have not had the same energy on the other side that I have on my side as far as knowledge. I sit down in front of the computer, and I think I talked about this last week on one of my shows, where I spent a lot of time when there was gorgeous days outside and everybody was out at the park and doing in my house for 5, 6, 7 hours doing webinars, building websites, trying to figure out how to build my own website, marketing, networking. I'd spend a lot of time doing that, and you know, I don't regret it, because today I'm a better person for it. I learned how to edit that way. I learned how to do a lot of things. But when you're getting people into your life and you're meeting people to try to have this unity and this support system, you have to really audit them, you know. And I know it sounds like you know, you should just love everyone. I'm not saying don't love. You can love everyone, but you can't have everyone in your space that's negative, you know. And especially if they have a different viewpoint, you know, you want to go this direction, they might be great, but they want to go this direction, you want to go this direction. It's just not going to work, you know. As well as the level of work that you're putting in. So this is a very important one, and it actually does. I mean, human interaction is what we're here on the planet, right? Everyone has to interact with other human beings, no matter. I mean, there are people that are, you know, that are uh, what do they call it? Hermits or whatever they are. They lock themselves in places. And I feel sorry for them, and I wish them well and pray for them. But but most of humanity is to connect with other humans. So to maintain a close knit human bond and a social support network, you have to make sure that those people that you're letting into that social environment are have the greatest good for you and for themselves, you know, and not are defeating the purpose, and not you're fighting against, you know. It's not, you don't want to have people into your environment and be going up a mountain of molasses, because that's just not going to work. The next one is spiritual connectedness. So spirituality is huge, right? I mean, obviously, it's the one thing that almost every single culture has, is some religion, right? Um, some people will say, "Well, we're the only ones," and we're talking about spirituality and believing that you are a spiritual being. Some religions believe that that's not enough, that you'll still burn in hell if you don't have their viewpoints. Others believe that you have to do these certain things every. We're not talking about the religion part of it. We're talking about spirituality and that connectedness to it. Knowing that you're a spiritual being, and knowing that you have way more abilities than you can even imagine, believe it or not. And the power to help others is really what's driving you spiritually. And having that ability is really a powerful thing. And you know, if you have your religion and you go out every Sunday or Saturday or whatever day of the week you go, that's what I'm talking about, because you have a faith, you have something that you have a foundation to something that you can build on. You know, you have to have that in order to build, because then why are we here? We're just by chance in these bodies walking around. We're not robots, but you know, why are we in these bodies? You know, we're here for a purpose. You know, we're here to try to become better and to raise our awareness level so we can be better spiritual beings, and better and be better serve uh be able to serve better others as well. So that one is important. These are all important, but that one in particular is important because of the spiritual connection that we all have to the world and to those around us. Number six is energy balance. Balance calories in, calories out, reduce your carbon footprint. Reduce your carbon footprint. I'm not going to go into that. That's just a whole other thing. But I think this one just basically means what you're eating, what you're putting out, so some people litter more than others, right? But I think it really has to do with your consumption of food and your your ability to what you're doing with the energy that you take in, right? And this is an important thing because it has a lot to do with how productive you are during the day, right? So your energy balance, you have to have energy throughout the day, but then at night you have to be able to cut that energy and be able to have a good night's sleep so you can rebuild the body, right? The body needs this, right? We're spiritual beings, right? We don't need the body, right? But we're in these bodies right now, right? And the body is a machine and it needs its thing, right? So you have to treat it well. You have to be able to respect it and treat it well, so this way it will actually work for you and you can do more things with your body, right? So spirituality and body and mind, all these things that I'm talking about today, all work in conjunction with you as the being, right? You as the person. So we we need energy to get things done. You know, you ever just been feeling like on a weekend day, you're like, you don't have anything to do that day, but you know that you have about 20 things you can and should be doing that day. But you know that you're not committed to do anything that day, right? Your day off, right? I had a day like that on Saturday, right? And I remember waking up and thinking, oh, I don't actually have anything to do or anywhere to go, So what did I do? I got up early. I came to my computer and I worked on my film and submitting it and also putting up I created a poster and I did social media. And that's what I did this weekend, even though I could have literally just sat in the kitchen because I sit in the kitchen a lot, by the way, drink coffee, mess around on social media, watch YouTube videos, which I don't really, I do that, but not I can't spend a whole day doing that, but I could have done that. So you ever felt that way and you just kind of, and then the day goes by and then you realize you didn't do those five things that you could have easily done. And then you feel bad about it and you're like, oh God, I can't believe I didn't do that. And I've done that. And it's a horrible feeling because you had the time. You could have just said, you know what, I'm only going to spend 4 hours doing it, 2 hours, 30 minutes, whatever it was, but you could have done something. And then at the end of the day, you would have felt better because at least you would have done something. So that's what we're talking about. It's having that energy. It's not just physical, sometimes it's mental and spiritually. You want to get that energy up enough where you can feel better and you can want to do those things, right? And that's the key thing. And this is the one that's um the last one is voluntary voluntary simplicity. Embrace the liberty that comes with wanting and needing less. So, uh, I don't know about this. This one, I kept it on the list. I could have just done six, but this was part of the article that I read. It was on Psychology Today, which I'm not a big fan of psychology and overall, but this list had some valuable tools, and I kind of just draw from it and put my own twist on it, right? So voluntary simplicity means embrace the liberty that comes with wanting and needing less. So I don't know about wanting and needing less as a healthy thing. In my opinion, I'm gonna not say that this is a good thing. I don't think that you should be greedy, right? But I think you should always want more. You should always want more. And needing depends on what you need. You know what I mean? If you need people to like you and console you and always agree with you, well that's not healthy at all. You should just not give a crap what anybody thinks, right? That's healthier, believe it or not, than wanting that, right? I get that part of it. But wanting better for yourself and needing a better home for your family and wanting a better life and a better job, a better relationship, better guitars, better film cameras, all those things are healthy because it gives you a purpose and it gives you a goal, something to reach for. So I'm going to change number 7 instead of to embrace the liberty that comes with with wanting. And I guess it says embrace the liberty, right? The freedom that comes with wanting and needing less. So there is no, it's not needing less. It should just stop with wanting and needing without the less. That's how I would actually rephrase this one, and combine it to things that you are actually passionate about and things that you actually want in life, right? Those are what really matters. That's what really matters. And it is okay to want things. We're in this weird place where like wanting too much or wanting to be better is sort of like frowned upon. And that's just so much BS. That is not the case at all. You can want things, it's all about perspective, and it's about the things that you want aren't hurting anybody. It's just something that you want. You know what I mean? I remember my wife telling me that when she was younger, that she had wanted a Mercedes Benz, that she'd always was saying, I want a Mercedes Benz. And her family had kind of like uh basically invalidated that viewpoint of oh, you're never gonna have that, that's only for rich people. And they kind of like, and she mentioned that to me, not recently, but she has mentioned that to me, and I'm gonna make sure she has her Mercedes Benz very soon, because I think she deserves it. You know what I mean? And not because we're special or anything like that, because that's what she wanted. Why shouldn't you have what you want? I've always wanted really great guitar, and I'm looking right now at a tremendous Fender Telecaster guitar that I love, and equipment and cameras and lights and all this stuff. It's what I want. That's why I go out and I work my butt for it to try to get it. And it gives you something to work for. You got to have that big game. I want a much bigger stuff right now. And that's my game that I'm going for right now. I've accomplished this stuff. I want bigger stuff now. It's a healthy thing to have a goal. I think people are just afraid of the failure. What if you don't get it? Well, you tried. At the end of the day, you can look back and be like, man, I tried. I did everything I could, but it did not happen for me, or I didn't get that thing, but I got this. So I'm happy that I got this. I might have not had this had I not gone for that, because your level of push was much greater in that direction. So all right. Well, I went a little longer than usual there, but I had some stuff to say. So I appreciate you sticking around and listening. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe this show. I'm here every day at 7 a.m. with some positivity, with some coffee, laughs, and a positive outlook on the day ahead. And I will see you all tomorrow morning. Make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace.